Welcome to the Comic Binge. Today I am joined again by Ridgetop, aka Adam. Do you want me to call you Ridgetop or Adam? Does it matter?
You can just call me Adam.
I'll call you both probably.
Typically, we've been using our screen names less when we do the video stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, no, thanks for having me back on to talk some Alien comics.
Yeah, man. Like I was just telling to Adam here before the show. I'm like, I kind of want to do a thing where I talk about aliens and predator comics for like it's on the reg, and I'll bring this guy because he's an expert. And I love the franchises. I don't know as much as this guy, but I love them and I love comic books. So we're together. We're like Captain Planet or something. Or, we could put our rings together. Do you know Captain Planet?
I was never too into Captain Planet, actually.
I wasn't either.
I remember the intro for it.
All right, yeah. So anyway, I'll go on forever. Again, wasn't the hugest fan of the show, but anyway. So yeah, today we're going to talk about Aliens 2, and I think if the first series or the first issue wasn't like as good as I thought it was the first time, Adam, and I think that if this wasn't a seminal...
Oh, you were glowing about it.
I was.
Yeah. You returned to it. It wasn't quite as good.
No. What I'm saying is, if it wasn't as good, I don't think I'd want to come back to the second issue and do a whole show about it. That's what I was trying to say. I apologize, but it was as good. And two, it is also the fact that it's a new Marvel series, and it's a first time Marvel's going to have the character, and it's a big deal. And I'm really excited because this is something that we're getting, and it's good. And I love the first issue, and in the second issue, we'll talk about here in a second. I kind of was thinking the second issue is always kind of the second and third are always like the most telling in my opinion, because that's where the story really takes off. The first one's always supposed to kind of get you right, kind of hook you in, but whether or not you're going to be invested with these stories depends on these next two issues, in my opinion. Just in general, with whether it be miniseries or arcs or whatever. And obviously, it's not black and white statement, but it's usually what I tend to agree or think about these comic books or whatever. So, second issue was important, and what I was really afraid of was just more kind of dangling, like okay, let's just kind of beat around the bush and whatever. And I'll be honest, there was a little bit of that in this comic.
Yeah.
There's a little bit.
Definitely was.
A little bit. But I have to say the pacing of this comic book, and I think the influence of the horror elements that I think that Alien obviously is based heavily off of, plays such a huge part in this book, and it's written so well, in my opinion, that I didn't really care. So, and I think that what it tells you, at least it tells me, is that Philip Johnson here is telling a pretty interesting story, I think, with the Alien franchise. And I'm glad that I have someone with your knowledge on here that reads comic books. Or my dog is like drinking a lot of water. Bane. Anyway, it's you have so much knowledge, and it seems to me, I'm just curious because I'm getting a lot of classic horror vibes from this story. And I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it because it's the OG. I'm thinking of the OG Alien film with Ridley, obviously, but it just seems to me that I'm getting a lot of heavy original horror vibes from this. And it's not heavily influenced mainly from just Alien or Aliens. It's using both those things, kind of combining them a little bit and giving us a kind of a little more hint towards the Ridley aesthetic, but it's still its own thing. And I maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I'm just trying to whatever, but that's the impression I get. Cause when I read this comic book off the bat, and we'll get deeper into it, it was beating around the bush, but I also felt like it was pretty solid and like telling really good stories at the same time. So I'm curious if you thought like me and if you dug it like I did.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely get a horror vibe from it. The story, it did seem like there was a little padding there to me because it starts out, there's going to be a little bit of minor spoilers here, but we won't get into too much. But it starts out and we're having another tense meeting in Gabriel Cruz's kitchen. I'm like, oh, we're doing this again. And so it was just kind of like, how much padding is there going to be? Because I'm not used to monthly comics that are meant to have like a long arc. And so compared to what I'm used to with the Dark Horse stuff, where typically things have kicked up by issue 2 quite a bit quite a bit more than they have here. It seems like this is going for more of a slow build thing, and that might just be that the story that they're telling is a longer format, and the monthly issues are going to go on longer than we're used to as fans. So I'll have to see with that. It was interesting how they've pretty much, cornered Gabriel Cruz into taking on this mission to try and save someone he cares about. And he gets to the space station, and the space station is all dark and creepy and evoking those horror vibes a lot. Yeah. And so it will be interesting to see how long they spend on the space station, or if the story of they eventually go to another planet, or if something happens to Earth. So there's any number of ways that this could go, and it'll be really intriguing to find out. One thing that we've kind of noticed is the alpha alien is brought up for the first time in this one. Yes. And some people thought that it was the humanoid female alien that he was having a dream about in the first issue. But we've seen some of the cover arts, and I know you were going to show those.
I'll show that here in a second.
We've seen some of the cover art showing the alpha alien, and it honestly kind of reminds me of the Kenner King alien from way back in the day. It has a crested head like the Queen, but the crest shape is a little different, and it's smaller than the Queen. So it'll be interesting to see what the alpha alien is. What was Gabriel Cruz's involvement with this research? So the story has me intrigued. I still have issues with the art. It seemed like it wasn't as bad as I was worried about, but the dropship in there, you Google that, it's like dropship CG model, which I hope Cruz paid for. And so also the alien at the end, kind of the perspective looked a bit off on that. I thought it was very obviously referenced from the Hot Toys alien, just the shape of the head. So for me, the art is still like,
man, you just want to hate on LaRocca, dude.
It's not. I feel like there's a way you can do reference without it being so instantly recognizable. Like the thing that makes a lot of these stories for us interesting as Alien fans is their contribution to the universe. And I'm like, okay, is Xenopedia going to be adding Dropship Model 1 entry here?
Oh, man.
CG Dropship Model 1 entry. I want to see either something that's evokes something we've seen in the Alien universe, or something that's a new design that's contributing to it, not just something that was ripped from somewhere else. But as far as the colors, the colors were still great, just like they were in the first issue. I feel like some of the characters' expressions are still a little iffy for me. It's passable. I'm not a fan of the art, but
you really aren't, man. Wow. Wow.
But I will say that Marvel just did announce their first one shot, and this one will be Aliens rather than Alien. And this one is celebrating it's called Aliens Aftermath, and it's a double-sized one shot celebrating the 35th anniversary of Aliens, the second film.
Word.
And this one, I thought I had it pulled up here. The artist is, and I looked up their work, and I actually was quite impressed with it. Dave Watcher, and it's written by Benjamin Percy. And Dave Watcher had done some art with Godzilla comics as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought his stuff just looked fantastic. So I'm really excited for this. Okay. I do like these covers a lot. This one, it's kind of like the reverse of what we saw in the first cover.
Right.
By In-Hook Lee. And so, I picked up that one and one of the variants at my local comic shop.
That yellow one's great. I love that yellow one.
This one is by Stephanie Hans, I believe.
Okay.
And I did like that one as well. I believe there's one more where it's crawling on the ceiling. I might have to order that one online. Another thing that we were talking about before we recorded this is my local comic shop got these boxes in.
That's awesome. That's
this
beautiful.
Marvel Alien box. And so I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw this. And I hope they do it for Predator as well.
Oh, yeah, they will.
But it'll be cool I took a lot of my Dark Horse comics and moved it into that one. So,
already put it in there, huh?
I had to get a couple of them because I know.
Oh, you got a couple? Oh, yeah, because they're more short boxes, right? They're not the long boxes.
They're pretty long. They're not the longer ones.
Right. We were talking. I had no idea they were doing that for the last couple of years, and I was like, whoa. I was like, and I was telling you, why were they doing this sooner? Why?
It's such a cool concept and idea, because if you're a fan of a series, you get to collect it in this thing that has the artwork plastered onto it. So
yeah, I have all these old long boxes. I have to go through my comic book collection. It's so unorganized right now. I have thousands and thousands of, or at least I think it feels like it's thousands of just single issue comic books right now that I have not like really organized very well. It was organized at one point, but I've been like digging through stuff and it's nuts. I'm mainly, as you can see, a trade person now, but it's or digital, but anyway, it's a bummer you don't like the art, man, because I don't think the art's bad. Like by any
I think
means.
the colors help it a bit because I do think the color work is really well done.
It is. I think it's a well-crafted comic, to be quite honest. As overall, if you were to take the writing and the layouts and
I'm not trying to say the art's terrible. It's decent. It's just, as far as an artist's use of reference, it's not what I personally prefer in terms of what I want to see. That's personal preference. I'm not saying the art's terrible and you shouldn't buy the comic because of the art. It's not what I was hoping for.
You brought up a great point, actually, and I'm going to give you a lot of credit because a lot of people were like throwing things at LaRocca for a lot of different reasons, and whatever. Like I like his art.
Now, if this was Greg Land stealing stuff from fellow comic artists, I would be saying, listen, don't buy this. So I really hope they don't use him again after that cover debacle.
I like Greg Land. That's the problem. Here, listen.
You have to understand, Tristan Jones has become like one of the most respected Alien comic artists in recent years, and he straight up just stole his work.
And I'm not justifying that, but I think it's Greg Land. He's doing some Symbiote Spider-Man right now with Peter David, and whether or not he stole, I'm not arguing that whatsoever. It's like LaRocca, right? People like say he stole this, he stole it, whatever. I'm not going to argue that point. But Greg Land also, he does draw like he draws some great characters too. I mean, he has talent. I didn't say he's a thief or he apes somebody. You know, I'm not saying that, but anyway, that's not what I want to talk about here. But yeah, I'm not in favor of anyone stealing anything. So I want to get very clear. That's not cool. But I like Greg Land's art in a lot of books. But I will also say he does, I guess, and I didn't even realize this until someone told me that he references certain adult film stars. Like,
there's a lot of facial expressions that seem a bit off.
Let's not do that, guys. Anyway,
there's just so many good skilled artists out there that are looking for work, comic artists that some of which I know personally that I think would kill an Alien series. And when I see artists that are established in the industry who probably get paid a lot for what they do, doing really lazy techniques, it gets me a little irritated.
Well, I will say this, and again, I haven't worked in the industry, so I have no idea like how true this is, but it's not just, I hate to say it, it's efficiency too.
I know it's about the deadlines. It's not all on the artists. Sometimes they have a deadline, they got to do what they got to do. And even a comic recently that I read that we reviewed and we gave really high scores to, and I love the artwork, which was Dark Horse's AVP Thicker Than Blood. Out of curiosity, I took a piece of concept art for the movie The Predator and matched the spaceship with it in Photoshop, and it was exact. So he obviously took the background, even though I think the art in that comic is great, and there's a lot of like the alien didn't look like it was ripped from anywhere. All the poses were original. Same with the humans. They were all great, but a couple of the environments you could tell were just kind of taken from somewhere, changed a bit in Photoshop so it looked illustrated. And hey, sometimes artists have to meet a deadline, you know, as long as they're not going to get in legal trouble for what they're doing. And this goes into derivative works and all that. Then that's fine because Disney owns that concept art, right? So if Disney's cool with it, then whatever.
Well,
but
you know, and really quick, you brought up a great point though, because when a lot of people say they don't like a Greg Land or LaRocca, and when it's not just straight up stealing something, like what you said, when you brought up a great point though, that the reason why you have issues with it, it's not just the fact that like they're like LaRocca is taking a hot toy and making that as a reference. It's the reason you have an issue with it is that he's not doing his own own thing with it.
You can use toys as reference, and that's fine. They're great reference, but at least change things up a bit so I can't just immediately recognize it as that toy. Like put your own unique spin on it.
Exactly, and then that honestly, and this is no BS, man. Like I was like, man, that's a really articulate way of explaining why people have issues with this. But they don't really say that though. They just go, this is crap, this is blah blah blah. It's like, well, tell me why. Like that's a great point. I think that's a valid criticism that you're saying, because you're right. Like they should be giving their own like aesthetic onto the alien. That's what makes these characters and these franchises evolve, is not doing the same cookie cutter thing all the time. Is where you're bringing your own spin into it. You're bringing your own like flair to it. And that's what's important. Now, LaRocca, and we talked about this a little in the last episode, you have to also like, they're trying to, I want to say baby the fans, but kind of ease people in a little bit too, I think. And I think LaRocca is a good choice for that. And I think that, but I think your criticism is very valid at this point, because we've only seen a lot of like, certain designed alien.
Here's what I'm nervous about.
Okay, go ahead.
We've seen a little bit of the aliens yet. We haven't seen much. And it looks like we're going to start seeing more in the next issue. Once we start seeing a lot of aliens and seeing how they move, because that first panel was just not a great start, because those were toys and they were very obviously referenced as toys. The perspective was way off.
The first
the dream panel, the double page.
Panel. Yeah, double page. Yeah,
I can tell you, most alien fans I know cringed at that. Like they did not think it was a great start. This last one, even though I had some problems with the perspective, it looked all right. It looked better than that initial double panel, but we'll have to see. If there's aliens all over in the next issue, and I'm recognizing it from this, that, and the other ththing, that's not gonna be great. But like, this is, the colors here work really well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I see, so. And this is to me what I like what we've gotten from this comic book is this kind of stuff. And so we talked about Alpha already. I liked a lot of this. And again, a comic book artist's job is not just to make pretty pictures, but to tell a story, right? And that's what we talked about last time. And I think LaRocca does a good job of that in general. I didn't have any issues with this as far as the layouts and the storytelling in this, but I also think a lot doesn't happen per se, as we talked about.
No, the story hasn't really moved too far in issue 2.
Right. But for me, and I'm curious what your take on this is, I think Philip Johnson has done a great job of the pacing and giving us a lot to chew on, though. Still, I mean, there is.
And I do like the pieces of mystery that he's planted as well from Cruz's past that we're hopefully going to learn more about.
And that's I do like the idea of going back and forth between timelines, and that's a tired trope. Let's be real, in general, not just for Alien, but for storytelling and for anything in the last like 30 years. It seems like timelines jumping back and forth is very, very not cliche, but it's very tired, if you will. It's almost a cliche, but it's not quite there. But what I would say, and I'm curious of your opinion on this, Adam, I would say in this comic so far, after 2 issues, it's done a great job of not going back in the past too much.
Yeah, it's only giving us hints so far.
Yeah, and I think that's been good.
How that goes forward, but yeah.
There's one panel which I should have got it out, but I didn't. We'll say that for people who actually want to read the comic or whatever, right? I will say the part where Gabriel's like laying down and you see the scars in his chest.
Oh, right
there.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Like what? Like because see, and I haven't read a ton of, I've only read, minimal Aliens comic books, but at least for me, I was extremely intrigued by that. I'm curious, as a hardcore Alien fan, what did you go right into right after?
Well,
that?
for me, when I saw that, I thought, okay, it's obviously been established he was involved in this research in the past with the xenomorphs.
Right.
So how do those scars play into that?
Well, did he have a chest burst?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he was a host for one of them and they surgically removed it or something, or maybe some got out and he just is scarred from it. But
now again, I've seen the movies a ton of times besides Alien. I've seen the first 2 a ton of times. I haven't seen all Alien 3. I saw bits and pieces over the years, and then finally watched Alien 3 and the director's cut and loved it. Actually, I actually was way more surprised. I liked that movie a lot.
Yeah, it's actually called the assembly cut.
So it's not because
it didn't really have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot it's the assembly cut. That's right. I apologize. So I remember Fincher.
That really elevated the film for a lot of people. Yeah,
because I had seen it, for the most part. Again, just random parts here or there, and the whole thing in entirety at some point when I was younger, and it just didn't seem interesting. And when my wife and I watched the assembly cut, I was like, okay, like this is it. Just again, I just saw the Justice League Center Cut, and I love that movie to death. And
I still need to watch that.
so
Just
good,
got to commit the 4 hours.
It's worth it. Or break it up. Just watch it in pieces. It's worth it. Watch Snyder Cut. It's good. And I'm not like a.
Well, I saw today Warner Brothers posted a trailer for the 4K theatrical cut release, and it just got like 36,000 dislikes. It's just getting so thrashed.
Why would they do that? Anyway, that's a whole other podcast. But with my understanding, Adam, is that once they're lodged in there, like they ain't coming back. Like even if you started,
well, there's different, like in some media, like Aliens, Colonial Marines. There's the placenta idea, which is even if you remove the chest burster, it kind of leaves like a cancer in your body that will kill you anyway. I've honestly never subscribed to that. I've always thought the idea was pretty interesting. Of maybe they could remove it. Maybe there is a chance to be saved, however small. Obviously, in Alien Resurrection, they remove it from Ripley 8, but she has alien DNA herself, and maybe that's why she survived it. For me, I've always thought that if you get to it quick enough or before it bursts out, then you can rescue the host.
Okay.
So that's my stance on it. I don't know what the official stance on it is in terms of canon. I think it's appeared. I don't know about this. I mean, I think it's appeared in more than Colonial Marines. The whole placenta idea, the idea that even if you take out the chest burster, it'll leave like some sort of cancer in your body that'll kill you pretty quickly. Okay. But I've honestly never subscribed to that myself. Like, and like as far back as the Alien Resurrection video game on PS1, like you would get face hugged, and then you would have to find like a portable surgical unit to get it removed, and it was pretty awesome. But
Alien Resurrection's a trip, man. That movie's a trip.
Woo! Well, the old game on PlayStation 1 is really cool too. It's very difficult, but I wish they would re-release that one.
Now, I don't want to get on a tangent. Just really quickly, Alien Resurrection, yay or nay?
Yeah, that movie is grown on me, honestly. I really like it. When I watched it at first, I hated it. I thought it was a terrible movie, but I don't know what it is. The older I get, I just think it's a fun time. I really like the effects by ADI in that one.
The effects are amazing. That is, listen, is it shot well? I mean, the guy, an art house director.
It's a fun action ride made like an artsy French director. Like it's such a unique film. Like
it's wild.
A lot of people think it's hot garbage, but I've just been enjoying it more every time I watch it.
I don't think I told you this, but I watched it when I was a kid once, and just being like, I remember that I liked it, right? And I remember I never watched it again. It had been 30 since I was in middle school, and I was like, what, 12, 13 years old. I watched when I was 38. So it'd been like a good while since I've seen it. I sat down and watched it, and I'm like, holy crap. This is...
Well, Joss Whedon said they got everything wrong from his script that they could have gotten wrong. Right. I still think it's interesting and unique, but hey, don't go by my opinion.
Oh, no. Listen. There are some
I like AVPR, and everyone hates that movie.
Dude, okay, listen. I like all the Aliens and Predator stuff in AVPR. Everything else, no thanks. But all the Aliens and Predator stuff, I loved, even on Earth. I like that. So I don't hate it as much as or not you like it, but like other people. But I acknowledge that it's not great, but it's a good time. I rewatched it last year, first time since I saw it in the theater with my wife, and years ago, and I was like, it's about as I remember it. I loved all the Alien Predator stuff, even though it's so super dark. I still liked it, and all the human stuff was terrible. But I mean,
I like Ron Perlman, and I thought Sigourney's take on her character was good too. And like Doug, was it who was in it? Was it who played the scientist guy? I gotta look this up.
Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif,
the character actor, right? Oh, the guy who played Chucky.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah. Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. He played the scientist guy, and I thought
he was great. Yeah,
he was great in the movie.
What I didn't like was Ripley, that version of Ripley, and I didn't like.
I did, because like her whole character was, I got to destroy the alien, but now she's part alien, so that's such a unique twist on it. But I know it's not for everybody.
We're going on tangents.
Right,
this is
not
our
podcast.
Hey,
anyway,
When I was on a podcast, that's all we did. I'm sure I was not. No, people were not happy with me. No, but this comic book itself, though, I will say that I've been very, very happy with the pacing and what they're kind of going towards, and it definitely feels safe, but it's a good safe, meaning it's not horribly written. And I'm very curious, like how you said that, let's see LaRocca, let's see what he can do when he's not using toy stuff, because he's not going to do that the whole time. I can tell you that right now. I mean, I can tell you from Star Wars, Darth Vader series that he did, there's definitely points of reference for different characters.
Oh yeah, like
well, right.
You've seen that infamous meme panel, right?
Yeah, but listen. I still thought he did some great work in it, and so I don't begrudge him anything in that series. So, to be honest, so I think I am hoping he can redeem himself for you Alien fans. This next
I'm
issue.
hoping so too. I do not want an Alien comic that I don't like, but they happen. They happened under Dark Horse. There were some comics that we reviewed under Dark Horse that we were like, that totally missed the mark there. This, I haven't formed an opinion on it yet. I feel like this is going to be a longer format story, and it has me intrigued. It has me cautiously optimistic about it. The artwork, I don't know if I'll ever be crazy about it. I'll have a better idea once the aliens start showing up more often in the comic. But I am still, I'm very excited to see what Marvel does with this property. And I was really glad that they announced the one shot to celebrate the Aliens anniversary.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I mean, that film was so influential in science fiction, and
it's one of my favorites of all time.
Fox did a big celebration for Aliens 40th anniversary. So to see that this summer they'll be doing stuff for Aliens 35th is a really good sign. And I've been loving a lot of the variant covers too. Some of them are like, but like for me, that's been a big part of me collecting and buying them is the variants. So, and they keep releasing more and more variants for, I think up to Alien 5, we've seen some now. And I'm impressed with a lot of them. So honestly, like I'm almost more excited for the covers than I am the comic itself.
Oh my God. You're one of those. You're one of those, Adam.
I know. But
I have an idea for our next episode. I have an idea because it might be a little bit longer than our usual stuff, but we'll kind of throw it out there. Maybe we talked a little bit about, doing more than just the new comic books. What if we did an old story or a couple old comics afterwards? We'll do a new one and then we'll do a couple, old ones.
Sure. No, I could definitely select one that's pretty good.
I'm gonna let you do it. I bought all before they sold to they went back to Marvel. I bought pretty much all the omnibuses on digitally, so I can get them. And
well, it's not too long before Marvel's first omnibus comes out. I don't know if you're planning to get that one, but it might be interesting.
Not digitally, not physically.
Okay. If you're getting it digitally, then there should be a story or two in there that
let's do it now, if you don't mind. What's the story? I'll put it in the description.
Well, I need to go through and find the right one.
Oh, okay.
How about I will get back to you on that.
All right, so you don't have one right now you could give us this kind of next time?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh, come on, man. Adam,
you're new to Alien comics, so I need to find one that's really good that would also be good for a new Alien.
Like Earth War. So. Earth War was dope. Earth War was so
the
dope.
art in that was not great either. That's what everyone had a problem with.
Some of the art is not great in that. Some of the art.
Compared to the comic before it, like Nightmare Asylum, if you haven't read Nightmare Asylum.
I meant Earth War because I can put they say
you mean
Earth
the whole
War,
trilogy?
The whole trilogy,
okay.
Yeah, because Sam Keith's art is that was
so Earth War is what the book was called, but the Female War is the third one of that.
Yeah, the Female War. I didn't like Female War.
Yeah.
I mean I like the story, didn't like the art. Sam Keith.
A lot of fans had a problem with the art in that one.
I mean, Sam Keith's a comic legend, dude. Like, dude is brilliant. Really, really stylized art. Not my thing. Not my thing on that one. Did not translate well in the Alien comic books. But how about this? We'll review the next comic book, Alien 3, which I'm excited about because I love the fact we're reviewing this every so often. You come prepared. Bring the comics. And we'll tell the audience what we're going to read next time. And then for issue 4, we'll review issue 4 and then a couple issues of that story or whatever. So here are the rules. There's no rules, but we'll do a couple issues of a long series, or you can give me a couple issues of like a couple one shots. It's up to you. So
Sure.
we'll
Yeah,
do a
we'll
couple.
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So yeah. So no, next time we're gonna be. So if you want to know when to get into Aliens comic books, this is what it's turned into, which I'm very excited about. It's what the comic binge is all about: binging comic books and knowing where to go for when you're excited. And again, I've always told people this: don't be afraid to jump in, even if you're on issue 5 and you're like, I haven't read issues 1 through 6 or 1 through 4. Just jump in. If you have it and you're like, whatever, just go read it. Like, just jump in. And if you like it, read issues 1 through 4. I mean, don't always wait for a jumping on point. It's always nice, but sometimes you just need to jump in the deep end, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Again, this goes back to me like reading the graphic novels. I like to start at the beginning.
I know, but
go through the story.
What I'm saying is, if you're nervous, like, well, I don't know where to start, why don't you just jump in something, just look at it and see what you think? Because if you don't like it, you don't have to keep reading it.
That's true. Yeah.
That's all. Because here's the problem: is people are afraid to start reading comic books for a lot of different reasons, and one of them is the most common complaint is, well, I don't know where to start. And again, that's valid, but you know what? Just jump in. Like, just find something. And if you're like, I'm not really feeling it, then like go something else. Because I guarantee if you do it enough, you will find something. You're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. You can stop reading, just go back and read the rest of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, comics are so varied in terms of who's writing them and who's doing the artwork. You're sure to find one that
exactly
really connects with you. And we'll see that, I think, more as Marvel does more with this property.
Absolutely.
I think we are being a bit critical as fans because this is a big switch for us and it's the first one. But once we start getting more comics, there's going to be ones we like and there's going to be ones we don't, just like Dark Horse. So
in this, I have a bad memory, Adam. Did we like give a rating system for this? Did we give it out of 5 or anything?
I think I gave issue 1 a 6.
Are we doing out of 10?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take your lead. You're my co-host in this now. My faithful companion.
Well, I don't even know if my score was fair because again, we never score based on issues in our stuff. Like we always score on the completed story.
We're doing it up for you.
I mean, I'd probably give it a 7. Like it has me intrigued.
All right. I'd give it a 7 too.
And honestly, the 6 was mostly because I was grumbly about the art. I was a little less grumbly about it in this one, but we'll see where it goes. I still am very I don't know what to expect with the rest of this comic.
Oh man. Well, anyway, I'm excited because I think we got a cool thing for fans to kind of get into Aliens comic books. Again, this is a great jumping on point. That being said, go read these 2 issues, and I think they're solid. I've enjoyed it for what it is, and it sounds like a hardcore Alien fans in somewhat, mostly enjoying it. Hasn't been atrocious enough where you're like, don't buy this. So that's a good sign, the way I see it. So yeah.
Wait, can we cut this out real quick? I wanted to find something because I could have sworn Aaron told me that there was a reference in this to a Dark Horse comic, which would be the first time that they've referenced something from Dark Horse. So I wanted to find it.
We can just leave this in. This is great. I'm curious.
Well, I don't know if you want to leave in just me scrolling through this.
I could. Don't worry. The audience will hear me talk. No, but I think this is interesting because as a Star Wars fan, they rebooted the continuity. So references to Legends was a big deal for Star Wars fans, right?
Yeah, I mean they still mind that a good bit, right?
Well, they do, but it sounds like there's a direct reference to a story. Am I correct on this? Is this what you're trying to find?
That's what I could have sworn that I heard. I'm just trying to find it.
You're good. So anyway, yeah, I think that this is where I would say that if it does reference a story that came before it, that's a big deal. And then on your show, I came on there and I was talking with, I forgot his name. I feel bad now. But we're talking about canon. Just like, I'm like, I kind of think they should reboot canon. Just be like, make it all one thing, but what do I know, of course, but because I think there's been a lot of success with that with Marvel for the most part with Star Wars. And I really enjoy the fact that everything kind of counts and, rebooting, it's not really acknowledging what came before it. It can be a positive and a negative for a lot of different reasons. So I'm curious what references you're referring to. If it's like a direct story, because if it's like is just like a character, very passing, it's easy to like kind of like whatever. But if it's like actual event, that's a big deal, and that's what I'm curious what that might be. But
Yeah,
who knows?
not having much luck.
Well, how about this? We'll come back and see. We'll come back and see next time, and we'll see if we can find it. We can kind of go a little deeper on it. You can let us know if it's a significant. Maybe it's a minor thing. I don't know. Who knows, right? So
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so as always, Adam, thank you for joining me on this show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. This is I'm really excited about doing like diving in deep into Aliens comic books. Like I'm with you. I mean, I've already done a little bit here or there, but I bought them all digitally, so I'm ready to go. So yeah, tell people where they can find you on your social medias and all the other stuff you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, if you like to follow me personally, it's at Ridgetop21 on both Instagram and Twitter. But I'm mostly known for what I do with AVP Galaxy, and you can find our website at avpgalaxy.net, and we're on all the major socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. If you search AVP Galaxy or Alien versus Predator Galaxy, you're sure to find us.
Right on, man. That's awesome. Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at Hermer22 with 2 N's, aka P-Thug. Also follow the Comic Binge Twitter at Binge Comic. Please subscribe to our channel and also Adam's channel, AVP Galaxy. It's a fantastic site or channel. I love those guys. So, and they're awesome. You won't get anywhere else. You're not going to get the in-depth stuff you're going for these franchises. That's where it is. That's where I go. That's how I basically beg to get on the show. So, I mean, because it's like, it's legit. So go follow that place. Go download their episodes, watch them on YouTube, support them. They're awesome. So, as always, read more comic books.
I'm sure I will.
I'll have to leave that in. It's perfect.